Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be talking about how we got Sovereign on jungle solo queue in under 300 games. You can see with quite a nice win rate overall. You're going to see the stats here as well, from 8.1 KDA, 900 gold per minute, and then we'll show you the champions in a second. Mainly played Warwick and Vi, but also played a decent little bit of Wukong. So I'm going to go over the game that got me the Sovereign, and I'm going to talk through the kind of overall just what it is that allowed me to get Sovereign. So let's get right into it. Alright, so going into this game, so we're not going to talk super heavily about the game initially. We're going to be a lot more focused on, again, the general things that it did that allowed me to climb, but also show you guys the game, talk about it a little bit as we go. But I would definitely say, like, mental is already the first thing I want to talk about. Like, we had, I think I made a video 2 days ago about how I, bad mental in a day, got tilted, took an early break. We came back, and now, it's not like we had perfect mental through every game, but, like, we bounced back pretty hard already, and already were able to get Sovereign. So being able to bounce back from, some frustrating games and whatnot, generally speaking, has helped me a lot. Again, I talk more about mental in that video, so you can watch that video from a couple days ago if you're interested on more specifics, but definitely having good mental and staying focused was one of the main things. Now, as it relates to actual concepts, the first thing is always going to be pathing towards a lane that you view as more, just impactful to path towards. So in this game, for example, I path towards Kai'Sa Amelio because they're a much better lane with gold compared to Mordekaiser Garen are very hard to kill. Like, it's hard to kill Garen. Mordekaiser with gold, he's good with gold, but he's not like a 1v9 carry with gold. Whereas Kai'Sa Amelio, yes, they lose lane, but generally speaking, Garen's going to win that lane decently well too. And so I might as well path towards, someone I can at least play around if they end up not getting first blooded in 20 seconds. However, they did get first blooded in 20 seconds. Like, I had a lot of not great games team-wise yesterday, but we were still able to carry through to Sovereign. We had multiple 15k plus comebacks, which was pretty insane, and so definitely was very very interesting. But overall, that's like the thing. Like, I literally came back down 15k gold, and then I came back from down 10k gold, and then the next game I came back from down 15k gold. So it's like having those games where you understand how to come back, and these types of things are extremely important. And definitely just something that a lot of people underrate. I'm not showing that video or that game because I have talked a lot about coming back in games, generally speaking. Main things you got to understand when you're trying to come back is just playing on the opposite side of the map as the enemy jungler, that type of thing. So you're going to see, like, this early game's not going to go super well either. Generally speaking, the early game is just going to go quite poorly. My Zed is going to do super well. My Zed's a good player, and everyone else kind of plays really bad, as we're going to see. But because of that, we're kind of playing around the person who seems stronger. Unfortunately, I took some turret shots, and then Zed took turret shots, so we had to leave. But I was just trying to make sure, like, Teemo can't get a whole lot done there, and that we at least have some type of lead, because we see our top lane already died, our bot lane already died, so we don't really have a lot to play around. And so when I have these types of games where I would have, not very many people to play around, I'm generally not trying to overforce, because again, people, they do let you pick them off. If you just have proper macro and you play the game in a pretty calm, normal manner, like, you're gonna be completely fine. So again, just play around basic jungle timers, farm efficiently, make sure that you make a lot of plays on the opposite side of the map of the enemy jungler when you are behind, and generally play towards your stronger laners. And, like, these are the simple concepts that allowed me to climb. Like, it's nothing crazy. It's not like I do a million crazy things. Obviously, I'm an experienced player. I understand the game maybe to a larger degree than a lot of people because I've played a lot. But a lot of these general concepts that allow you to climb, they're nothing complicated. Most people can do them. And again, you just see, like, as soon as my camps are spawning, I'm basically immediately on them, trying to pay attention to the lanes and see what happens to see if there's any lanes that I can go towards. And then, I just kind of react from there. So here, obviously, we see their jungler's going topside. He looks like he's diving. And so I'm naturally going to respond there and see if I can at least get some level of gold on myself or make some type of play. Even though my teammates obviously are doing poorly, like, can I at least get something out of it is basically the thought process here. Now, the answer to that, is no. My dual lane are getting shit on really hard, but it's just that awareness, like, just a simple map awareness of, okay, most of my camps are cleared. I can briefly take this time to go and cover that dive, see if I can get there, even though I was on the opposite side of the enemy jungle, and just see what we can do. And sometimes, there's nothing you can do. And this was one of the games where, like, early game, nothing was really working out. Like, my teammates were dying on side lanes. There were never really opportunities for me to kill. And everywhere Mundo goes, he pretty much gets a kill. And so ultimately, again, like, you can see, I'm really trying to put more focus into the mid lane because that is sort of my person that is ahead. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm just going to randomly force fights for no reason, but at least having the idea of who is strong to play around is important. So again, the main things that I really did to climb, I'll play around strong laners, have decent mental, Not overforce when behind, and just generally make proper plays to come back. Just efficiency, really, at the end of the day, is kind of the main thing with jungle. And then again, like now that my camps are up, I can briefly try to see if I can do anything. But because this lane is losing, I'm not going to try to do that much. If they were winning, maybe I'm going to look a bit more to make plays around them, do stuff. But instead, again, we're just not really going to. And you can see Zed again is kind of my main, person doing anything. Is being pretty useful here. But then also champion pool is another thing to mention for sure. Like I definitely climb a lot better because of my champion pool. The fact that I play only 2 champions for the most part, Warwick and Vi, makes it much easier to play compared to learning like 10 different champions. So a small champion pool as well. Doesn't have to be Warwick and Vi. It could be plenty of different champions. But having that small champion pool definitely makes climbing much easier. And again here, you see I'm not trying to overforce these fights on all these random things. Because if I go and fight when we're behind and we're losing, I'm just going to go die with my team, and then we're going to have no one who is useful or strong. Instead, once again, like I'm looking for a play on this Garen, for example, because Garen is the person who is, or because Garen's the person who's on the opposite side of the enemy jungle. So at least I can look to try to force something. Now, most of the time, not much is going to happen. It's a Garen. So you can see, like, I'm trying to force, but it's a Garen. I'm not going to do that much. But we're looking for it. We're paying attention to that side of the map and just seeing, can we at least squeeze a small advantage out of something? You can see, this is a game where I'm 0-0-0. But even when I have bad laners, it's not like you're going to see me being 0-2, 0-3. You're just going to see me farming efficiently, getting a reasonable amount of gold, and then hoping that later on, again, something different can happen. So here, I play around the Mordekaiser's lane because that is my stronger lane compared to the other side lane, though both are weak. And at this point, we see Mundo, and so now obviously I can't really do much. If Mundo decides to go to one place, I can't contest. If he goes, he goes top side, for example, here, we'll go bot side. So we're pretty much just going to contest the opposite side of where he does. Oh, right. And this situation actually does make sense what I do here. And this is actually another thing I wanted to talk about that's really important to understand, is that I don't contest here. And so like here, I could have contested opposite side, but the enemy are already nearly going to get the dragon. And so they might contest me and it might be kind of bad. So you see what I do here instead is I just go and farm. Like I'm not doing anything crazy. I've literally been AFK this game because just nothing's worked out. I'm not going to try to overforce, even on an early game champion. And now what this allows me to do is make a top side play. So instead of making a play on the bot side, going for Herald here and being kind of, again, just contested and losing and playing around my losing laners, I end up going where I know they're not going to be and then finding an angle to dive onto the Ezreal, which I believe leads to us getting part of this turret or something along those lines. I don't remember exactly. We don't even get like an insane amount of value here. But again, it's just like the decision making is leading to me getting a play to potentially force. And again, this outcome is not even good. So like, again, evaluating purely outcomes when it comes to your decision making is also kind of something that is problematic with a lot of people. Because here, basically, I don't get my auto attack when I ult onto the Ezreal. Otherwise, he would die there. And we'd, have a decent little comeback angle there. Luckily, my Zed's doing well, like I said, so we have someone who's doing decent. And Zed definitely carries this game harder than me. I'm not just going to solely carry every game, right? He does very well this game. But again, the point is we make that play on the opposite side. We're very avoidant with our pathing, making sure we don't fight the enemy jungler because he's just stronger than us. And when nothing works out, you're going to be 0-0-0, and you're still going to have enough gold where it's playable. Like, I'm only down 300 gold to their 3-0-3 jungler because I'm farming efficiently and I'm giving myself the opportunity to come back. That means, like, if any one of my team does well, or the enemy ever make a dumb mistake, or they get caught, or anything happens, I'm going to be strong enough to take advantage. But if I constantly fought, again, we're going to be in a much worse spot. So that's why kind of understanding like the proper moments to take our fights led to us, again, having this chance to win. And even though still going very poorly, we're not so far behind that we can't win. Luckily, we do have Zed, and it is common that you're going to have someone doing well. Like, you're not going to have, again, my support, my ADC, my top laner, none of them are doing super well, but I do have one person doing well, and here I KS. I'm happy to KS anytime, to be clear. Like, I will purposefully smite it, KS the person, because I want the gold on myself. Taking the resources for yourself is definitely an important thing to understand as well as a jungler. But yeah, you're going to have one or two players who are maybe slightly better than the enemy relative to, their counterpart in lane. And a lot of times you're going to have a lot of people who are worse, but playing around those people who are better is important. In some games, everyone's worse, and you sometimes lose those games. You saw I've lost 37% of my games roughly. A lot of times those are the games we lose. So again, we're just playing around the advantage we have, which is the Garen is dead, and so we're trying to kill this Mundo here, and we do end up killing him, kind of outplaying him under the turret a little bit there, and he's being a little bit of a silly goose. And so again, even gold with the Mundo, even though I'm 1-0-1 and he's 3-1-3, having the better team, having better laners, and everything like that, because we don't try to overforce around bad players. We don't try to overforce when my team's behind. I'll give up my 2 little Kruggies here when the Garen tries to steal them. I think, oh wait, no, it's not. It's a different situation where someone was trying to steal my Kruggies. So I'll take all my Kruggies because he didn't want them. If he wanted them, I'd happily give them to him because they're just Krugs. I'm not really gonna, die over them. But either way, again, you just see this efficiency. I know I'm talking about it over and over again, and that's because this is ultimately what leads to me. And here, I meant to click the Teemo, so that was a misclick by me. I was trying to ult on the Teemo, but I suck, so unlucky. But we do still kill him, I believe. And so yeah, we're pretty much just waiting for someone to get caught out. Nothing too complicated there. And we just keep forcing these kind of simple fights. Mordekaiser, for some reason, ulted the Garen. I don't know why. Like, we had 4 people hitting him. I don't understand the Mordekaiser there, but either way, I think we end up killing the Garen eventually. So just these simple plays are really what lead to me being able to climb, being able to have a high win rate. And this is sort of where part of the comeback starts, because we do kind of start to get a couple kills. And it's largely due to the fact that I was strong enough to, again, fight because we farmed properly. Now here, I'm really surprised I didn't kill Ezreal. His barrier ended up, and the fact that he's 9-1, but his barrier ended up meaning he can kill me there, so it's very, very unfortunate. Luckily, Zed does catch him out there. And so even though this play wasn't optimal for us, it starts to kind of stage our comeback a little bit. We get a little bit of the gold back. We get a lot of gold on ourselves. I end up grabbing anti-heal as well, obviously, for the Mundo. And yeah, I mean, Zed, again, is doing very, very well. So shout out to Zed for sure. Definitely carried this game pretty hard. We do love getting someone who carries. I mean, he's a Sovereign player, so he's a good player. So obviously, I'm playing at 99 marks at this point, so there's going to be some challengers and Sovereigns in the lobbies, and every once in a while, someone will play well, even if it might feel rare. And at this point now, we're ahead again, 1.5k gold, even though we're down 4 kills as a team. And similarly, Zed has done a very good job of being efficient in farming and not overforcing random fights. So that is led to our gold lead for sure as a team. And we're doing a similar thing, even though we don't have a lot of kills. Again, I know I mentioned this a lot, because that's sort of the point of this video, is to really make you guys understand why it is that I climb. And largely it just relates to these things. Not a complicated game. Overall, I've talked about a lot of these things in my previous videos. If you guys are wondering, by the way, I will be playing ADC next. My ADC account is 77 marks. That's the next closest to Sovereign. I'm trying to get as many accounts as I can to Sovereign. Currently, I would say it's very likely that we get like about 3 to Sovereign and 2 to Challenger. That's my current prediction. We'll see what we end up doing though, if we're correct about that. And then we're trying to bait them into this fight here, obviously around Baron, because they have 2 dead. So this is kind of where we're trying to, again, push our lead a bit further, bait some type of fight around Baron, and just use the fact that we're stronger now to force basically a free fight and get Baron afterwards. We end up melting through the Mundo. And yeah, I mean, I also think Warwick is kind of broken, by the way. It's like a separate thing. Warwick is low-key broken if you guys are looking for a good jungler to play. Definitely very, very strong. You can see me melting through their tanks there, as you saw. And at this point, I'm very scared of Lux, so we end up waiting for her spells to go out. You see, it's just simple spell tracking. We wait for spells from Lux to go out. I just ult out because I'm savage like that. And I'm never going to say savage again, I'm sorry. But yeah, we just wait for the Lux spells to go out to steal instead of just trying to do a random flip. I see so many people lose jungle games just from trying to flip an objective that doesn't make sense. Like, we obviously have that objective on lock. All we have to do is make sure we don't hit it until Lux uses her spells on it, or be aware of, like, say, a global ult, like they have Ezreal ult, for example, or these different things. If you're just aware of those simple things, you're not going to lose these steals. But if you go into an objective and you're just, like, thinking, oh, I hope I hit the smite, I hope I hit the smite, that's not going to be great. But if you're thinking, what can they actually do to steal it? How will they respond? Putting yourself in the enemy's shoes is largely going to be what's very important. Like, I was coaching a jungler today, and a lot of the things, he was a challenger jungler, so he's a relatively good player, at least compared to a lot of the other people I'm coaching. And again, a lot of the issues with his kind of gameplay is more so thinking about the actual win condition and what decisions actually lead to you winning or losing a game, rather than not understanding specifics of the game itself, not understanding, you know, when to farm, when to fight. Like, people understand these things, but a lot of times they don't make plays that actually lead towards them winning or losing the game, and that's ultimately what we're looking for. Again, I'm not making these random fights early on in the game when, again, my team is down, they're losing lane, we don't have strong laners, they're behind, whatever. Like, when these are the case, you know, I'm not going to wait, or I'm not going to force something. But then when I see the opportunity to find the actual comeback angle, like these Barons, or like getting 1 or 2 picks and then forcing the fights off of those 1 or 2 picks. So again, we got those 2 picks, and then we forced the fight around Baron, even though Baron's going to be hard to necessarily do. And then we kill their Mundo on that Baron, we get the Baron off it and everything like that. So just all of these kind of choices lead to us being able to win these games. And my Zed is the biggest carry of this game, but like Zed is not going to be able to solo carry with these other 3 laners if I'm not, making these simple decisions, not overforcing, and making sure that he has someone to at least, play with. And these are the types of things you have to understand as well. Some games you do have another person carrying or carrying harder, playing better, and understanding how you can make their game easier is just as important as understanding how to carry yourself when you are in a game where you're the main fed person, the main carry, and all that. So it's definitely a very valuable thing to look at overall. And yeah, now we're just clearing the camps, and side waves are very important as well. Here Kai'Sa's there, so I just leave it for her. But like generally speaking, side lanes are very important. As a jungler, clearing the waves after you clear your camps, sometimes even before, past 6 minutes. Clear the waves, especially if your teammates are overgrouping, overfighting in the mid lane or whatever. Take that extra gold as a jungler. It's a bunch of free gold that you can get from all those things, so it's definitely an important thing to pay attention to as well. And at this point, I think I'm waiting to ult the Ezreal, but he ends up dying actually in there. Anyways, I think we might kill Garen, would do. And yeah, at this point, I almost died a turret here. So this was a little risky for sure. But you can see we committed to it, and we ended up getting it, luckily. That was kind of overly risky of me, to be honest, but it worked out. And then my champion can just Q 1 wave, and I pretty much instantly am full health again. So that's kind of nice. My champion, again, is a pretty broken champion. If you guys haven't noticed, we end up ulting the Teemo. He has the stasis, and we just kill him here. So all pretty nice things. At this point, we're just pushing out the side lanes, clearing waves, nothing too complicated. And we can end the game once we get the Baron, go and force a random fight, win the fight, and we end up ending the game and getting Sovereign. So wanted to kind of show you guys the main, things that allowed me to get Sovereign and everything like that. Go through a little video. Sorry for my lack of coherence within my speech today. That does kind of happen a lot with me. But either way, we got Sovereign. We'll be playing ADC, so you guys can watch me play ADC until we get Sovereign on that account. Then we'll probably go on the mid lane or something like that after that. So if you guys are interested, watch my Twitch or my YouTube, anything like that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.